Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jasoda Nandana Prajajana Ranjana Jasoda Nandana Prajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Paramahamsa Privrata Kachocha Ashtotarita Shishimad Abhay Charanarvindam Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Kori Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai ISKCON Bhakti Samstavakacharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Shigo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Mayapur Navadip Dham Ki Jai Ganga Maya Jamuna Maya Ki Jai Shrimati Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Shrimati Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Samveda Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Giri Yat Kripa Taraham Bande Shri Gurun Dinataranam Paramananda Marvam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So, We all know the story of Prahlad Maharaj, the son of Hiranyakasipu. Prahlad Maharaj, a great devotee of the Lord, and his father was Asura, the demon. There were two brothers, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakasipu. Hiranyaksha was killed by Lord Brahma. So, because his brother Hiranyaksha was killed by Lord Brahma, Hiranyakasipu became the enemy of Lord Vishnu, the enemy of the Lord. And he was sworn to always be the enemy of Lord Vishnu. Now, he performed great austerities, Hiranyakasipu, and he got a benediction from Lord Brahma. And that benediction, he told Lord Brahma, I want to become immortal. But Lord Brahma said, I'm not immortal. How can I give you that benediction to be immortal? So everyone in the material world, they have to experience birth, old age, disease, and death. Janma, mrityu, jara, bhyadhi, dukkha, doshana, darshanam. So anyway, Hiranyakasipu said, then at least let it be that I'll not be killed in the day or the night, not by any weapon, not inside the house or outside the house. Like that he went on, not by any animal or any human being. So Brahma said, okay. Then, because he became very powerful, this Hiranyakasipu, he conquered over the whole world. Even he conquered over the demigods. And later on he had a son. His wife was pregnant. And while he was off doing austerities, at that time, the demigods, they conquered over the demons. And they were about to kill the wife of Hiranyakasipu because she was pregnant with Hiranyakasipu's son. So they thought he was a big demon. But Narada said, no, the child in this lady's womb is a great devotee. So Narada Muni took charge, and that time he instructed Bhagavatam. And Prahlad from within the womb heard the Bhagavatam from Narada Muni. So anyway, later on, she returned to her husband. Prahlad was born, and he was being taught by the sons of Sukracharya, Sandana Marga. And he was being taught politics, diplomacy, all these things, but he wasn't interested. Prahlad was always remembering the instructions of Narada Muni. So one day, the father of Prahlad Maharaj asked him, so what have you learned? And he explained, I have learned that the biggest disease is to think that someone is my friend and someone is my enemy. So in the demon's mind, Hiranyakasipu, that's what life is all about. Subduing my enemies and supporting my friends. So he called the two teachers of the sons of Sukracharya, Sandana Marga. What are you teaching this boy? Take him. He's talking like a devotee. So teach him properly. And his teachers were wondering, how did he learn this? He didn't hear it from us. So after some time, again, they brought the boy to Hiranyakasipu, and he said, with fatherly affection, his young son, 5 years old, he said, what's the best thing now that you have learned from these teachers? So, Prahlad, he was thinking the best thing he learned was from Narada Muni, not from these teachers. So he told his father, the best thing I learned is that one should do devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. These 9 processes of devotional service to Lord Vishnu will bring you all perfection. So immediately Hiranyakasipu became wild with anger. And he said this boy should be killed. Should be killed. He's speaking like the enemy. In that way, Hiranyakasipu, he tried to kill his son. So this is the problem. There's always 2 types of people in the world. The devotees and the demons. The Sura and the Asura. So the Sura are devotees of the Lord. They're interested in performing devotional service. They're interested in all these 9 processes of devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, and Atmanivedanam. 9 processes. But the demons are not. Right? So there's always this struggle between the devotees of the Lord and the demoniac persons, the asuras. Anyway, when you want to perform devotional service, it's very clear how you do that. Right? Beginning by Shravanam, hearing. This is the process to hear. When Prahlad was in the womb, what did he do? He heard. He heard the instructions of Narada Muni to his mother, Hiranyakasipu's wife. And in this way, he became a devotee. So that's the chief process that one can do to become a devotee. Shravanam, hearing. In fact, out of the 9 processes of devotional service, you can perform any one of them and achieve perfection. If you only hear, that's enough. To regularly hear the message of Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, or to hear the pastimes of the Lord and the Lord's devotee from Srimad Bhagavatam, what will happen? One will become purified. What is that purification? Well, right now, we are thinking that we're this body, and the problem with that is that we're not this body. God is eternal. We're also eternal. But we're not eternally inside this body, right? With a show of hands, how many are from Maharashtra? Raise your hand. Okay, good. Now how many are from Andhra? No? Gujarat? 1, 2. Okay. Let's try another place. Orissa? Not even 1. Bengal? 2, 3, 4. Okay. Uttar Pradesh? Oh. So, very good. How many are from America? But actually, we're from none of these places. These are not our place. It makes no sense to say I'm American, or I'm Gujarati, or I'm from Uttar Pradesh, or wherever. Because that's this life. What about last life? Where were you from? Huh? What about next life? Where will you go? So if I'm thinking I'm some identification in this body, it's only temporary. Rather, we learn from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that our real identity is that we're the eternal servant of Krishna. Jiver Swarup hoy Nitya Krishna Das. This is our real identity. But because we're conditioned by the material nature, therefore we think we're so many different things. Just like rainwater. Rainwater, when it comes down from the sky, is pure water. But as soon as it hits the ground, it becomes all muddy, contaminated, right? Same way, in our original position as eternal spirit souls, we're spiritual, we're pure. But as soon as we come into the material world, we become conditioned, we become contaminated. With so many different false identifications, whatever it is, according to the body. Tall, short, fat, thin, some community, some country, some family. These are called upadhis. And in the Nectar of Devotion, we learn from Srila Rupa Goswami that in order to become Krishna conscious, we have to give up all these upadhis. Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam. We have to become purified from all these different upadhis. So how to do that? Shravana. Simply we have to hear. And when we hear the message of Krishna from Bhagavad Gita, or the pastimes of Krishna from Srimad Bhagavatam, all of these upadhis become cleared away. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentions in the first verse of Shikshastikam, Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Karaiva Chandrika Vitranam Vidyavaru Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipatam Purnamrita Svadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vichayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. The holy name of Krishna, the holy name of the Lord is powerful, very powerful. And by hearing the holy name, one can become cleansed of all contaminations. We can understand our real identity as eternal spirit souls, part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Mamai Vamsa Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha. That the jivas, they're my angsas, sanatana, eternally. Right? Understanding this simple fact that we're not this body, we're the eternal spirit souls, nothing to do with this material world. This is not our place. This is not where we belong. We belong in the spiritual world. If we're eternal, and we're looking for eternal happiness, but here in the material world there's only temporary happiness, fleeting, coming and going. This is material house. Sensual gratification is only temporary. Give the example, just like if you have one rasgulla and you eat one rasgulla, oh, very nice. You eat two, okay. But how many rasgullas can you eat? And then you're finished. So all sense gratification is like that. Material sense gratification. Therefore, in order to become free from this idea that I'll be happy by material sense gratification. We need a process. And that process is the Navalakshanam, the bhakti process, the 9 processes of devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, hearing and chanting. And that will automatically invoke Smaranam, remembering. Right now, people don't understand Krishna. They think that Krishna was an ordinary man, like us, and that he became great. It's not like that. Krishna is God. God is always God. God never becomes God. Right? Some philosophers say like that we're in this conditioned world, but if we do meditation and perform austerities, we can become God. How you can become God? How did you unbecome God? That's the question. If you're God, how did you not become God? Huh? If you can become, that means at some point you unbecome. So God is always God. It's the Supreme Lord. He's one without a second. There's nobody greater than God, nobody equal to God. He's Ashvamurdha. Right? Our position is that we're supposed to work in cooperation with God. Right? Right now we're working in competition with God. God's enjoying, I'll also enjoy. Right? I'll have my bungalow, bibi, bacha. Right? Competition. But no one is competition for Krishna. Rather, we're meant to work in cooperation with Krishna. And how can we do that? We can do that in this age of Kali, simply by chanting the holy name. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And you can do that in any position. Right? You can do that in any position. But the problem is, people don't chant. People think they don't have time. No time for chanting. They have time to read the newspaper. They have time for their cell phone. All day long. For that they have time. But for chanting, time nahi hai, samay nahi hai. This is the problem. So how you'll come to the perfect stage? Life is very short. Prahlad Maharaj says, so many years go as a bacha, playing. Right? And then school, studies, metric pass, college pass, right? And then job, earning money. So much time goes. And then you become old, you can't hear. What do you say? What? So people don't know how to use their time properly. By proper management of time, one can accomplish many things. And if you don't manage your time properly, you can't accomplish anything. There is time, people have time, but they have to use it and appreciate the value of spiritual activities, the value of chanting. The holy name is not anything material. That you have to know. And how can we know that the name is not material? Well, material sound vibration is there, just like cinema song. That's a material sound vibration. Right? So how long can you sing one cinema song? Right? How long can you sing it? See, a spiritual sound vibration, you can chant every day for 2 hours a day for 50 years. But can you do that for a cinema song? Why? Because it's material. And the holy name of God is so powerful, you can chant every day for 2 hours and never become tired. And how do I know? Because I've done it. It takes 2 hours to chant 16 rounds, and I've done that every day for the last 50 years. By Krishna's grace, Krishna's grace. But if I chant some cinema song, can I chant every day 2 hours for 50 years? वो थक जाएगा. I know one cinema song. One music teacher, he taught me this cinema song. Actually, you can put the same melody to Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. But actually, the cinema song words in Hindi are, "Is gyan kya hai, kuch bhi nahi, teri meri gaani." So with those words, you can't chant 2 hours a day for 50 years. But you can chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, because the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is spiritual, not something material. And so powerful. It can destroy all of our anxieties, all of our fears. Everyone is fearful in this material world, right? But you can become fearless when you understand that you're the eternal spirit soul, not this material body. You become fearless. So this can be accomplished by Shravanam and Kirtanam, which will automatically bring us Smaranam, and offering prayers. Chanting Hare Krishna is also like offering a prayer, but there are many wonderful prayers in Srimad Bhagavatam, and the Brahma Samhita is a beautiful prayer. Many wonderful prayers for glorification of the Supreme Lord. And by memorizing some of these prayers, one can offer them for the pleasure of the Lord. And in this way, if the Lord becomes pleased, our life becomes successful. The meaning of life is to please the Supreme Lord. People may worship the demigods and try to get some pious result from that, but that's not pure devotional service. Pure devotional service is Anyavilashita Shunyam Jnana Kamaryanavritam Anukulyena Krishnanu Shivanam Bhakta Uttamam. It's without any tinge for a desire of mental speculation or karma. People may perform pious activities and accrue something which they offer, but the devotees of the Lord, rather, directly they want to serve the Supreme Lord and offer everything to the Lord, everything in His service. So these are some of the ideas. And if one, just like after Lord appeared and killed Hiranyakasipu. He protected Prahlad. So the devotee is always protected. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, you declare it, my devotee never perishes. My devotee never perishes. And although Hiranyakasipu was so powerful, when Lord Nrsimhadev appeared, within a moment he was dead. All the demigods were so afraid of Hiranyakasipu. Simply if he raised his eyebrows, they were so afraid. But within a moment he was finished. And the Lord was so angry, really, really angry, that the demigods were thinking how to pacify the Lord. So they pushed Prahlad forward to the Lord. And by the Lord seeing Prahlad, he became pacified. And Lord Nrsimhadev asked Prahlad, you take some benediction. Take some benediction. And Lord was told by Prahlad, my dear Lord, since we're chanting your holy name and we're engaged in your devotional service, we are completely satisfied. We don't need anything. So this is one of the benefits of devotional service. One becomes completely satisfied. In material life, one is never satisfied. With whatever one has, they always want something else. They're hankering for something, lamenting for something. Brahmabhuta prasantatma na sochati na kanchati. If you become on the platform of Brahmabhuta, it means a spiritual platform, no more hankering, no more lamentation. In the material world, everything is hankering and lamentation. So Hiranyakasipu, he was dead. Lord Nrsimhadev killed his father. So the Lord was saying, take some benediction. Prahlad said, we're doing your bhakti. We're not business people. I'm not a shopkeeper that I'll do some seva and I'll get this from you. That's keeping God as your order supplier. I'll do this, you give me this. No. Prahlad was totally surrendered to the Lord. Still the Lord insisted that he take some benediction. And Prahlad said, okay, you please deliver my demoniac father. His father just tried to kill him, but he's asking the Lord, deliver him. And what did the Lord reply? The Lord told Prahlad that by your devotional service, your 14 generations behind are all delivered, and your 14 generations in front will all be delivered. So the best thing that we can do for our family is to become a pure devotee of Krishna. They will all be benefited. Later on, Prahlad Maharaj had a son, Virochan. Virochan had a son, Bali. You know the story of Bali Maharaj? Huh? He was delivered by Vamandev. Well, why was he delivered? He was delivered because he was the relative of Prahlad. That's why he was delivered. And there was another demon called Banasur. The Lord Krishna, he killed so many demons, but he didn't kill Banasur because he was related to Prahlad. So the best thing that we can do for our family members is to become a devotee of Krishna. And the way to become a devotee of Krishna is through these 9 processes of devotional service, beginning with Shravanam, Kirtanam, hearing and chanting the holy name. In this age of Kali, the way to become self-realized is only by the holy name of the Lord. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam, kaloa nasteva, 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 gatiranyata. This is the best thing that we can do for all our relatives, for society, for development of the country, is to become a devotee of Krishna, a pure devotee of Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada specifically started this International Society for Krishna Consciousness to give everyone an opportunity to associate with devotees so that they can hear and understand the science of bhakti and make their life perfect, make the best usage of this human form of life. Life is very short. A wise man knows that life goes by like the blinking of an eye. Time passes. So don't waste your time. You may have many things to do, that's all right. But add Krishna consciousness to that. Add chanting, add hearing, and associating with devotees. And in that way you can make your life perfect. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Are there any questions? Few questions we can take. It's a little late. Go ahead. The mic.
It's okay, Babuji. I can speak.
I got a mic here. 1 second.
Hare Krishna, Babuji. First of all, thank you very much for this lecture. And Babuji, my question is, there is one boy who usually say Hari Bol, Hare Krishna anytime, anywhere. Whether he is listening to a Bollywood song or sitting lonely. He have sibling brother who listen Bollywood song on speaker, and during listening this song Bollywood, he usually say Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. So is it correct? Is it good or not?
It's always good to say the holy name of the Lord, whether it's Hari Bol or whatever. Yes. Saying the name of the Lord is good.
No. During listening this Bollywood song, he say Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Well, it's not always good to listen to Bollywood songs, because Bollywood songs are all about mundane things, the mundane love affairs between boys and girls. So that's not so good. But chanting Hari Bol is okay.
Yes. He is not listening that Bollywood song. His brother is listening. During that song, a devotee say Hari Bol.
I see.
So is it correct or not?
It's okay.
Okay.
If he says Hari Bol, it's okay.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Babu. Thank you very much.
You should tell his brother to turn off the Bollywood songs. He should convince his brother to chant Hari Bol.
Yes.
Then it'll be better. Any other questions?
Probably he's saying, can you share some pastimes of Srila Prabhupada?
Well, you know, that may take a little time because we're short of time today. But my experience with Srila Prabhupada, one that I had, was when I was a new devotee. I just been in the movement 6 months, so I went to Mayapur, and in Mayapur I went to meet Srila Prabhupada, and I was just outside his room and offering my obeisances, and then I was going to go inside. So just then 2 brahmacharis came and they said, "Oh, you can't go in Prabhupada's room." And I realized that you can't just go in Prabhupada's room like that. But the next day, myself and one other devotee, we were cleaning the floor outside Prabhupada's room, and Srila Prabhupada came out, and he saw us doing that seva, and he became very happy, and he smiled, And he said, Hare Krishna. So the idea is that you don't have to try to see the spiritual master, but if you do seva, then he'll automatically see you. Any other questions, comments? Yes.
So, as I from this lecture I learned, the essence of this lecture is also hearing of Lord Katha. So, as we are hearing the Katha from many times, but there is no change in our life. So, we don't know the right process to hear the Katha. We are listening, we are attending Bhagavatam class also, evening lectures also. But that is not coming to our heart. So what is the reason behind the lectures?
You may not think it's coming to your heart, but actually it's coming. Our hearts have so many different desires. Many different desires. So we may think that it's not affecting, but actually it is affecting. If we didn't hear, then we may have made many wrong decisions in life. But because we're hearing, therefore we're inclined to take the right choice. If you don't hear, then you'll be attracted by the wrong choice. So in that way, we may not be so perceptive to it, but gradually, by continuous hearing, we'll understand that it's the hearing that is helping us in life make the right choices. The right person are the devotees of the Lord. Hear from the devotees. Just like there are many Bhagavad Kathas, but they're not by devotees, right? So they come up with the wrong conclusion. Srila Prabhupada used to tell how there was one Kathawala, he would speak on Bhagavatam, and then after the Bhagavatam, he told one person, you know, my throat is very dry from speaking. Can you give me one beedi? So he's, you know, discussing Bhagavatam and smoking beedi. So from such persons we don't want to hear. We want to hear from people that are devotees of Krishna. And then it will be effective.
So what is the right process to hear? What you can hear?
Well, first of all, we hear by reading Srila Prabhupada's books. That's the number one right person. And anyone who is following Srila Prabhupada, they're also the right person to hear from. Hare Krishna.
First of all, thank you for gracing us with your presence. All of us in this room have a certain reason why they are here. Everyone has a particular story of joining ISKCON and coming to this evening. So what was your story? What is it that attracted about ISKCON or Srila Prabhupada because of which you joined this movement?
Well, I was at a rock festival. You know what a rock festival is?
I have an idea.
So I went with my friends to a rock festival, and there at the rock festival were the devotees. And the devotees were chanting Hare Krishna and giving one card. And the card said, chant this mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. And your life will be sublime. So I took that card, I put it in my wallet, and I forgot about it. And then at some point, I thought, I found that card, and I read it again, and I thought, okay, let me try. and I began chanting Hare Krishna. So after I began chanting Hare Krishna, I met devotees, I got some books, I read the books, I made a subscription to Back to Godhead magazine, and like that, I began associating with devotees.
The ambition with which you had joined ISKCON, would you like to shed some light on?
Ambition?
Whatever we do, we have a certain ambition that helps us on our path, on the upward trajectory.
Yeah, it says in the Bhagavad Gita, there's 4 kinds of people that join, that take up Krishna consciousness. Arto, Jignasha, Authority, Jnanita, Bhattata, Shabha. So the first one is people want to get relief from the suffering. Relief from suffering. Someone is in search of money. Someone is inquisitive, right? So I would say mine was a mixture of inquisitiveness and relief from suffering. And the material world is all suffering. And the more you engage in sense gratification, the more you suffer. So at some point I just got fed up with it. And Krishna helped me meet the devotees.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, we know the glories of the books of Prabhupada, but still we cannot prioritize the reading of books. So you can instruct for that.
So now you can get this app, Transcend app. It's audiobooks. So you can just keep it on in 2 devices, and you can hear all the time while you're, you can hear, you can, be doing your studies and still hearing, multitasking, and can be riding on your motorcycle and hearing, or you can be in your car and hearing, and you can be on the train, you can be hearing.
Prabhuji, in audio, the problem is that we cannot focus on the words because it's in English, so we are less comfortable with English.
Oh, it's not just in English. What's your mother tongue?
Hindi.
It's in Hindi also. It's in Marathi also. It's in Gujarati also. It's in Telugu also. It's in Kannada, Tamil. It's in Odia, Bengali. 11 languages. Take your pick.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. In this hall, many of our students for college and this school. Can you please tell me how to focus on a particular thing, not to distract by this all material world, but how can we increase our focus? Like suppose I am studying 3 to 4 hours. How can we study like 7 to 8 hours?
You want to study 10 hours?
Yes.
You can increase your focus, your mental focus, by coming in touch with your real identity. If you're spiritual, then spirit soul doesn't have any problem focusing. But focusing on what? That's the problem. If you want to focus on something for sense gratification, your mind will always divert you to other things. And you won't have that Shakti to deny the distraction that your mind creates. It's the mind. If you want to study 10 hours, you have to really be focused. And in order to focus, you have to be able to turn off the distractions that your mind creates. Your mind creates so many, imaginary, unnecessary necessities. So in order to become callous to the mind, you have to awaken your spiritual powers. There are powers that come with someone that is focused on their spiritual identity. So by chanting the holy name, you'll be able to focus more. And if you want to study 10 hours Srimad Bhagavatam, that's very good. But if you want to study 10 hours IT coding, it's not so good. I mean, it's okay and it's a certain degree, but after studying 10 hours of, what field are you in? Science. In particularly? Entrance, okay. Science, right. Well, they tell you a lot of stuff in science, that Darwin's theory of evolution. It's not very scientific, but they teach it. It's a theory, but they talk about it like it's a fact. So if you're in, biological science, you have to listen to all that stuff. We understand a different message from Srimad Bhagavatam. And one time Srila Prabhupada said that, that in Darwin's theory, that our ancestors are the monkeys. And Prabhupada said, yes, your ancestors are monkeys. All you scientists, your ancestors are monkeys. But our ancestors are Lord Brahma, right? Because he was the original living entity. And from him, all the other living entities come. So in science, you have to be careful because they can, feed you a lot of stuff that's not really science. It's not scientific anyway. And therefore, simultaneously studying science, it's okay, but you should also read Srimad Bhagavatam so that you can filter out what's real and what's not real. But by chanting, definitely by chanting, if you practice chanting, you'll be able to focus better. Okay? Hare Krishna.
Maharaji, Hare Krishna. Maharaji, Hare Krishna. My name is Rahul. Maharaji, actually I am working in the advertisement field and I have joined the ISKCON since I am on the rainbow. I have joined the ISKCON. But Maharaji, sometime what happened with me when I did chanting, so that time I get a call from my client. Because I work for the advertisement field. So sometimes I have to live with my client for a timelines. Because we get the timeline of projects, we have to control on this timeline. But the many times happens with me, I have to be live with the client because I have been in that situation because I have to live with my client. Because sometimes what happens, we cannot deliver our projects on the time. And many times happens that I am chanting and that time my client or my boss call me. So what happened on this project? Why not getting on time? But many times I have lied. But later on I realized that I should not tell lie because thing is that me and my manager who are working the management, because we are forced to tell lie because clients know what the project we cannot deliver it on time. That's the situation comes, so we have to lie. So what should
well, telling lies is never good, but I can understand that if you got a job and you have a timeline, that you have to meet the timeline.
But our still is like that only because we tell the client also we cannot make your timeline because the projects we cannot meet them. But that also we get pressure also. But we are in a situation to tell a lie.
Well, no job is eternal. The job goes on for some time. You finish the job, and then make time for your chanting, make time for associating with devotees, make time for, just like you make time for eating, right? No matter how many jobs are there, you still khana khate hai, na? So if you can make time for eating, you can make time for chanting. right? You make your time for sleeping. You're forced to sleep. You get so tired, you have to sleep. So just like you're making time for eating, sleeping, then you make some time also for chanting.
Yes, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, it's 9:30 now. Thank you very much for listening. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki. Shri Shri Radha Giridhari ki. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki. Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
We will chant 3 times Hare Krishna mantra by saying our gratitude to His great Bhima Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. तो आज प्रभु जी ने इंग्लिश में लेक्चर दिया और हाँ पता है सबको थोड़ी बहुत तकलीफें हुई थी, तो आप सभी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद प्रभु जी का लेक्चर अटेंड करने के लिए। और हम प्रभु जी से निवेदन करेंगे कि प्रभु जी ऐसे आते रहिएगा हमारे सेशंस में और हमें ऐसे प्रेरित करते रहिएगा। थैंक यू सो मच प्रभु जी।
Hey, how many are from Bihar?
जो सब बिहार से वो हाथ ऊपर कीजिए।
They got it. UP wins. They got the most.